Excellent. So, welcome everyone from wherever you are around the globe, whether it is a wonderful morning or a lovely evening. Happy to have you all here. It is an absolute honor to introduce Terry. Terry is a highly distinguished member of our local guides community, and he's actually a local guides veteran who has an active and very supporting voice on Local Guides Connect, and he has a passion for local discovery, photography, videography, which is what we're all here for, and adding new roads. On maps, he's actually racked up more than 1 billion photo views. It's very few, one of the very few. I'm very proud to rank up more than 1 billion photo views. And on Connect, he is actually known for his popular practical guides, such as tips on the 90-degree photo and how to make a highlight video in Google Photos, some of his more popular recent posts. So Terry actually is a model local guide. He exemplifies exactly what the community spirit is by essentially always being ready to share his knowledge and help fellow local guides, which is what he's here to do today. So please give a wonderful welcome to Terry. Terry, it is absolutely great to have you here today. How are you?
Steve, thank you for the kind words. I feel great. A lot of guides helped me along the way, and I kind of want to give back a little too, and I've always tried to do that.
Excellent. And we are absolutely excited to have the opportunity to have you do so. But before we jump into that, I have to say I do have a few particular questions that I would love to kind of just start off with to kind of allow the other local guides to get to know you. So if you're good with that, what do you think?
Let's go.
All right. Excellent. So first and foremost, what is your favorite local guide perk?
I hope you can see them, but they are my Google socks.
Absolutely stylish. I love that. I have not been able to find mine. They may have been stolen at one of these events the past few years. Who knows? But props on you for still having yours. And
mine are well used, and I want to share a story with you. 2 years ago, I was in the hospital going through a procedure, and I had the typical hospital gown on and was lying on the bed waiting to go into this big machine. And the technicians came over and looked at my socks and started questioning me. And where'd you get those? They're great looking, blah, blah, blah. So I explained to them. They went next door and get 4 more technicians out. I had a room full of technicians that are admiring my socks before I could go through with my procedure. So that's my sock story.
That's incredible. And I did see Adrian. I saw you, you pulled out those lovely socks as well. You know, a lot of people can say that they're kind of iffy about the designs, but I think that story, Terry, is a testament to how wonderful those socks are. Maybe they'll bring them back. Let's see. So that's your favorite perk. What about your favorite Connect or Google Maps badge?
Connect badge has to be the 10 challenge badge, which I just got this year. And the Google Maps badge has to be the master director. Steve, you've just gotten yours, so you know how hard that is. I know a lot of people have not gotten it, and to me, it is the hardest badge to get.
That's absolutely true. Incredibly interesting. I personally feel like the other badge, as far as like writing the first 50 or first however much reviews for like writing the first review for the first, like the place like that. I can't remember the name of that badge, but that one gives me nightmares. It's hard to find new places and be the first person to review them, especially in Florida. Obviously, a lot of places are popular, but so would love any tips on that. So just moving on, what has been your favorite city or town that you've visited?
There's been lots. I've been lucky enough to visit Paris, London, New York City. I loved Boston. And Steve, we also loved Miami. We loved the Brickell area in Miami. What a great place to sit on a patio and people watch. I love visiting small towns in Ontario, but I guess my favorite place is Niagara Falls, Ontario.
Wow.
So much to
Wow.
do there.
Niagara Falls and Boston, two that are definitely on my bucket list. And it's considering I'm not that far. Hopefully, I'll be able to knock them out soon. But yes, the Brickell area in Miami, absolutely wonderful. Next time you're down in Florida, next time anyone's down
Oh,
in
I
Florida,
will.
please let me know. Yeah. So, what has been your favorite local guide memory?
Could have been a couple of years ago when I was having lunch, and I had shared my local guide story and my photos of the business with my server, who I got to know very well. The next time I went in there and I went to pay, they said, "No, it's been taken care of." I said, "What do you mean?" "The owner knows what you've done and he has bought your lunch." So that was a surprise. But also this year, my daughter and I had gone out walking to a local farm where they were growing lavender. And my daughter knew the business owner. And she says, "I'm having so many problems with Google." My daughter, who's always bragging me up, says, "Oh, talk to Mr. Google here. He can help you." So sure enough, it was another one of her businesses set 5 miles away. So with an edit within 24 hours, I helped her change her hours, and she was eternally grateful to me. Little things like that we do can help people.
That's absolutely true. And you never know how long that business owner may have been struggling with that issue, right? So to be able to share your insight, even from that perspective as a local guide, is fantastic. And I guess just to round things off here, what would you say is your favorite food?
Oh, my waistline would say everything, but I am partial to a good chicken parmesan.
Don't think many would argue with that, right? So that's incredible, Terry. Really appreciate you being very candid with us through some of those initial questions. Now, considering that we know a little bit more about you and your background, we can jump maybe into maybe some of the more, I guess, local guides related things, right?
Sure.
So, actually, based on your profile, you've been on Local Guides Connect for more than 6 years at this rate. I'd like to just know, how long have you actually been a local guide, and what has inspired you to join the program?
Probably about 7 years. And I started, you know, doing a review, taking a picture, and then Google would give me a prompt, add a picture, take a review, tell us something about this place. So I did, and all of a sudden I'm getting these little badges and my levels are going up. And this is kind of fun. And then about 6 months later, I got an email from Connect asking me to join. And I did. I loved it. So many like-minded people on Connect. I still wonder, do they still do that for guides? I don't know.
Understood. No, that's interesting. I think many of us could relate to kind of like that path as far as like discovery and kind of just how we actually got into the program. Yeah, I guess Assad, do you have a question? Take that as a no. But in any case, if you do end up having any questions for Terry, I'm here for the first time. Oh, okay. Well, Assad, this is a conversation between myself and Terry, who's going to share some of his videography tips. And in case we didn't mention it earlier, anyone who does have any questions, whether as we're going along or towards the end, just kick back and enjoy and ask any questions that you may have towards the end of the presentation or the conversation, right? So just moving on. So that's great to know how you essentially ended up into the program. So I guess I would like to know a little bit more about what inspired you particularly to begin focusing on video for Google Maps. Obviously, it's almost like a new trails for us or new trails for the app or the application itself, right? So what caught your attention, and did you have any sort of video experience prior to, doing videos for Google Maps?
About 2 years ago, summer of 23, and this was after the slowdown of the photo views, where a lot of us were feeling down because we weren't getting the photo views anymore. One of the Googlers made a post about videos. It was a great video, and I can't find it. I've searched all over the place. And it got me thinking. And the video was about the future of videos in Google. And it made so much sense to me. So when I started that, I only had 3 videos. I had no experience, no idea what I was doing. So I started taking videos. And at that time, I think the Master's Director's Badge was the only one I didn't have. So my annual January post of 24, my New Year's post of what are your goals for the year? That was my goal, to get that badge. And yeah, I did it. I got the goal.
And
I had no experience.
No experience. And I guess how long did it take to actually earn the badge from the point that you set the New Year's goal?
About 4 or 5 months after that.
Wow.
But I probably was about halfway there to it at the time.
Got it. Well, much better than myself and my New Year's resolutions. You knocked it out very quickly, and you had already made some progress towards it. So I think you're a fine model, Terry, not only as far as like resolutions related to the Local Guides program, but even outside of the program. Let's remember that. Let's all remember that in December and January, right? So that's pretty incredible. So I think everybody here would love to hear about your most viewed, most viral video contribution to Google Maps. If I'm not mistaken, it's of the Scarborough Town Center, which I feel like it almost has a bit of a social media following or something. I've seen videos on TikTok about it. Guess it's that popular. But more about your video in particular. So how many views does it have? And how long did it actually take for that video to reach, sort of critical mass that it has achieved?
As of yesterday, it had 2.5, almost 2.5 million views. Excuse me. And I uploaded the video April the 5th, I think it was, of this year. So
Wow.
it zoomed up. Within the first 2 months, it had 1 million views. And I'm looking at it like a proud parent going, what the heck, putting your expletive there, what the blank is going on here, because this is crazy. And all of a sudden then it hit 2 million views, and it's just going and going and going. Little bit about the video. You go ahead with your next question then.
Oh, sure. That's exactly what I was going to ask. I think I'd love to hear more about the video itself. How you came to even just the idea of, capturing that video for the Scarborough Town Center, and how you decided to approach it. Because honestly, like that's such a staggering amount of views on a video, much less in that amount of time. So there's there seems to be some sort of magic potion of success here as far as this video is concerned. So yeah, tell us about it, Terry.
Now, Scarborough Town is the third most popular mall in the Toronto area. I don't go into Toronto that often, even though I'm less than an hour away. City traffic, it's horrendous, and I don't go there. But at the end of the winter, when the roads are good, I will often drive into the malls. I mean, I can photo walk in a mall and photo. And now it's photo, video, photo of so many different POIs. So I'm walking along the mall, taking my photos, and I see a beautiful shot of the beautiful roof in this mall. So I take a little video of it. Then I saw another shot and I took another video of it. going down an escalator. Oh, what a great view. Taking a video. Then when I got home, I thought, well, why don't I put this together and do a video of the mall? So I uploaded the video and boom. Now I did all this on Google Photos. So I'm not using any external apps. I'm using Google Photos, which is available to all of us. It puts all the videos together. You turn off the mute button so you have no sound on it, and it puts them together. You can add music to it, and all of a sudden, boom, you got a video done in less than a couple minutes.
Wow. You make it sound so simple, but clearly a lot of thought went into it. And I think, just approaching it from the idea of, okay, the facade and, the essentially the roof is beautiful. Let me capture like this shot that can encompass that and the different elements of the mall, and obviously capture some of the activity of the mall. I think that's incredibly fantastic and a great way of approaching it. I think more than anything, malls nowadays obviously bring back the crowds, bring the people back in. There's, malls are taking all types of different approaches, and they present. I do feel like they present an opportunity for guides to get back out there and to really kind of showcase what some of these improvements or what some of these enhancements to these malls are. Not everyone loves malls, and that's totally understandable, for whichever reasons, I can imagine. But again, they do present an opportunity for, potentially capturing something that people may be interested in and reaching a bit of a critical mass. So really do appreciate that context and that background, Terry.
I've gone to about 5 or 6 malls. And obviously I take the same kind of similar shot in all the malls. It doesn't always work, but then 3 of my top videos, I've got another one close to 1 million, which is also a mall. So malls are searched a lot on Google, right? One of the highest searching things. You're not just searching for the mall, but the stores in the mall, and boom, they get a lot of searches. So it's one of the key points.
Yeah, absolutely. So just kind of shifting gears a little bit. So a few years ago, actually, you shared your knowledge and your success around the 90-degree photo, which essentially, at least from what I understand and how you position it, means standing directly at the 45-degree angle from the signage or the building to get like that perfect kind of like 90-degree photo of the building or the location. So through your trials of video contributions, as you were working towards your master director badge, do you have any other sort of key video tips or sort of approaches to videos for maps that may stand out, kind of like relating to the 90-degree photo? So I guess like an idea like the 90-degree photo, but for videos, perhaps.
Similar. First, the 90-degree angle works great for videos too, if you have that opportunity. And when we're starting, I think a lot of us were apprehensive. I know I was, about taking videos. I didn't know what to do, but then got to realize we're not out here to take a Hollywood style, flashy video movie. So start small. Start by taking a 5-second video of the storefront, which is quite acceptable. Work your way up. For somebody that wants to do a highlight video, take a video of your meal, take a video of like the interior of the restaurant, or maybe the signage or the menu board. Take one obviously of the outside, the storefront. And if they have a patio, take it of the patio. Google loves patios. Put it back on, Google Photos, put it all together, and boom, you're good to go. And I think a lot of us were apprehensive of this, but actually start small. Start with storefront videos.
That's a great tip. And you highlighted so many different aspects that we can think about when we're trying to approach videos, right? So thinking about some of the different aspects depending on the place you go. And I think that's important. And the thing is, the fact of the matter is that like it's not going to be the same no matter where you go, right? How you approach videos for an eatery or a restaurant may be completely different from how you approach videos for, you know, a museum, for instance. So definitely great points there. You know, kind of thinking about your 1 billion plus views, you've clearly mastered photo views, and you know, you have the badge to show that you've mastered videos as well. So I just wanted to know, how many video views in total do you have? And what do you think local guides, I mean, well, you've already kind of touched on this, but I guess generally, what do you think local guides such as yourself should focus on when you're striving to produce and contribute quality videos in particular? So you did touch on kind of like focusing on certain aspects, but yeah, I guess the question's a little bit twofold. So how many views do you have for your videos? And yeah.
So I'll start with what to take first and maybe what not to take. So no selfies whatsoever. No kids. Don't put children in your photos, whatever in your photos or your videos. And try not, depending on your country's privacy laws, try not to get too many faces in your photos or your videos. What to take videos of? For me, everything. Everything works for me. Obviously, malls do, restaurants, home improvement stores are wonderful. There's so many people going to home improvement stores. If you do a highlight video, and I've done them with 5 or 6 short videos, stitch them together, you got a great video. Golf courses, museums. I've been to more museums in the last 6 months than I have in the last 6 years. So, a tourist attraction. Remember, with a tourist attraction, you're competing with a lot of photos, a lot of videos. So don't expect a lot there, but everything you can take videos of. Personally, I've got 52 total million views of my videos. So it's increasing. So one other thing too, though, I did a little test. I took 50 POIs from a couple of weeks ago that I'd taken videos of and photos of, and I wanted to see which one had the most. So 36 out of the 50 videos had higher views than photos. That's 72% of videos are achieving more views than photos. So does this mean Google is putting more emphasis on videos? Maybe yes and no. But you've also got to remember that POIs or businesses have a lot of photos, sometimes hundreds of photos already there that you are competing with when you're trying to get a high spot. They have limited number of videos. Some have 0 videos. 6 months ago, when Google started bringing out, putting in videos in the number 2 spot, we noticed it, and so many places did not have a video. So if you were lucky enough to put your video into a POI, boom, it's going to be taking off. So yeah, this is part of the thing that I'm seeing. I'm still looking at it. I'm still grasping it, but it's working.
That's incredible. You know, thinking about, you know, touching on some of like the advancements and as far as like how we've seen videos, I guess, kind of evolve on maps. And you mentioned seeing it, you know, now that it's in the 2nd spot, now it's getting, you know, it's receiving more prominence as far as like some of the user generated content that we see per POI in Google Maps. So I think, you know, I think what you brought up an important point around being aware of what seems to be highlighted in maps, and obviously video is one of those things. And you mentioned that, you know, over the past 6 months, we're continuing to see it influence more. So I think that's a great point. And on the topic of, you know, trends, advancements, of course, we've seen many of these within AI. You know, Google AI. They're fully into the AI. And we've seen the ways that we could easily enhance or correct photos through using AI. Just, obviously we want to ensure that the photos are accurate and they're a quality representation without any sort of falsities. And I know you previously covered topics such as Google Photos, like using their magic eraser. So what type of advancements in AI innovation would you like to see for videos moving forward in Google Maps, and generally, I guess, any other sort of AI inclusions or advancements within Google Maps?
Um, AI is a little scary to some of us, and so it should be. It's great that it can help with our photos, but I've also seen guides use it the wrong way by using AI photos and putting that up as a photo of the business. And at this point, I don't know if there's a way for Google to correct that or automatically look at that, or whether or not they even do it. But I'm seeing a little bit too much of this, and maybe they will look at it in the future. I'd love to see like a magic eraser for videos where we could, click on a thing and automatically get rid of it. So that's my wish list for videos.
Excellent. Yeah, I think part of some of the conversations that have been happening on Connect involve a hope that eventually for videos that we'd be able to kind of utilize some sort of AI power to at least blur faces. So clearly there's there are opportunities out there, I think, but of course we can't predict or prioritize some of these different enhancements or features for the Maps team. I guess all we could do is provide feedback, right? So
Yeah,
what
exactly.
better way to influence a product to work for you than providing that feedback as a user. So highly encouraged everyone to do so. So I've just got a few more questions for you, Terry, before
Sure.
we
Just
open
gonna.
the.
I almost forgot.
Oh,
I'd
sure.
hinted. I'd hinted at in another post. I got the hinting thing from Adam. Some of these guys will know what I'm talking about. The daily double. What's a daily double? Well, if you're lucky enough to have the top photo and the top video of a POI, I've now termed that the daily double. And I've got a few daily doubles. I'm also lucky enough to have a lot of videos as the featured media. And I'm seeing more and more of this with videos. So I've been saying for a long time, videos of the future, and the future's here now, guys. So let's jump on the videos.
Absolutely. That's incredibly encouraging. Don't know if I have a daily double now. I'm intrigued to check to see. So that's that's an incredible term. So I guess, Terry, for yourself, what do you think is perhaps the greatest challenge in terms of contributing videos to Google Maps specifically?
Um, whether it's personally, I don't foresee it as a challenge to me, but it might be a challenge overall to educate guides on what to post and what not to post. And I'm tired of seeing people's kids, and why would you want to put your kids in a video on Google so the world can see? It's not the place for them. So that's what I'm kind of leaning to as my challenges.
Excellent. And how do you see Google Maps, or how do you see videos in Google Maps evolving in the near future?
Only getting better, higher, and more people will be using them. Going back to another study that I read, the younger generation, and you can tell that I'm the older generation. We grew up with computers, and we didn't even have phones in the old days. But all the younger people today are using their phones. So 75% of people will only look at Google Maps on their phone. About 20% will use their phone and laptops and desktops. and only 5% will be strictly on the desktop. So we have to think about where all these people are viewing. And if we, it's like when I go out and take a video now, I'm now taking a video vertically, where I was the biggest horizontal photo taker, as most of us were, but it's taken me a while to switch that camera around and take them vertically.
That's such an incredible point. I feel like you feel like you definitely touched on something in particular that I feel like we've all kind of been on one side of the debate, whether it's, you know, vertical or horizontal. Similarly, I was horizontal forever, and yeah, now I mean, just going along with the trends, right? Now everything is vertical. I still tend to prefer doing horizontally when possible, but sometimes it's just you know, switching that orientation just works, right? So wow, wow, Terry, I can't say enough about the the depth of knowledge that you have been able to share with us today, and just everything that you bring to the table as far as the community is concerned. And I can definitely say that you're a master director. You have you know, you follow all of the right steps. You've got some of the great insights, some of the watch outs, things to do, things to not do. Very holistic approach to your videos for Google Maps. That said, do you have any sort of maybe thoughts or ideas that maybe we didn't cover that you feel maybe would be important for the community to know?
Steve, I think your questions were great. Like, when I looked at them, you pretty well gave me the questions that I was thinking and I was preparing to answer. So no, to me, you've covered everything. I just would like to see more people take some videos. You know, have a look at my how to make a highlight video. Try it with 2, 3, 4 videos and see the results that you get.
Excellent. So no, and that's the thing. Like you said, so you can, you know, if a guide is a little bit apprehensive, you can just start with a little bit, or try to just start with some of the shorter clips, see what works. You know, one of my favorite things to do is obviously benchmark versus others. At the end of the day, you know, there's quite some gamification, right? But we always have to keep quality contributions at the forefront, which in my opinion raises the stakes. So benchmarking versus other guides and what they've contributed is always a great idea as well. So I think at this point we can maybe jump into open forum for questions, or address any questions in the comments. So just taking a look here, there's been a lot that has been discussed, but I guess the more recent question is Estavao. And he's saying, and you guys think Google, its algorithms prefer which one more nowadays? So I guess between the horizontal and the vertical video shots, I guess essentially you're asking maybe which receives the preference. From my perspective, I think again it seems like vertically is the approach, or at least what seems to be highlighted the most. Open to seeing what you think, Terry, as far as, like, you know, whether one receives, you know, I guess more I guess one orientation maybe receives more priority versus the other.
I still have, you know, when Google did a change about 3 weeks ago, and they changed all the featured photos, I lost 15 of my top photos. My number one photo had 10 million views. It's no longer the featured photo. So a lot of the photos that replaced it, I noticed, are vertical. 2 months ago, I went on a little vacation in Ontario, and I stopped at another outlet mall, and I'm taking all my photos. And when I'm uploading them, I always click on the featured photo, and the same guy had every single photo. Like 90% of the photos of the mall were his. every one of them was vertical. I thought, what's going on here? So I'm kind of doing a little bit of a test now, but I'll get back to everybody. I'm taking photos vertically and seeing what's happening. But I think they're leaning toward vertical.
Yeah. What about you, Adrian? What do you think? You're kind of like our third party here.
I think, well, I was just looking at Google Maps at the moment and just randomly picking a POI and looking at what photos or videos is showing. And what you see is that in the like little thumbnails that they put in their Google Maps thing, you can't tell whether it's a vertical or horizontal video until you tap on it. So in a way, there is no bias from the user's perspective. They're not going to say like, oh, I'm going to watch a vertical video, I'm going to skip a horizontal video, because they cannot tell which one's which. But I would imagine that a lot of people these days are more familiar with vertical videos and watching it that way, and rather have to turn the phone around, things like that. So yeah, but I also think that on Google Maps, if you upload a horizontal video, it shows up, like you don't have to turn the phone around. Just shows. So
it works fine.
Yeah. So, right. It still works. And for me, I prefer horizontal because it's kind of like our eyes are this way, not this way. You know what I mean? So we're seeing things in the horizontal plane as opposed to a vertical plane. So I still prefer horizontal. I'm old-fashioned.
Yeah, same here. I think that's an interesting, very insightful perspective there, Adrian. Thank you for chiming in.
I do have a question for Terry.
Yeah,
if you don't mind. Yeah. So what do you think is the ideal length? I'm talking about videos here.
Within Google Photos, it has to be, for you to manufacture it, for you to make it, has to be under 30 seconds. So if I'm uploading videos from my phone or normally I do everything from my desktop. I'm still old-fashioned that way. So it has to be under 30 seconds. You can't upload longer ones. I kind of feel that somewhere between 12 and 25 seconds. I don't want it to be too long to bore people, but it's got to be long enough to hook them in and make them watch it. You can't be too short, but you don't need a 15-second video of a storefront. It's not worth it, right? Keep it low. 3 to 5 seconds is all you need.
Excellent. That's a great point. Yeah, I still find myself kind of going between like 5 to 10 seconds. But of course, like you've pointed out, I think, I can break out of my shell and maybe consider, using the highlights feature within Google Maps to kind of like stitch, a few together, like a few different perspectives together versus just having one. And then maybe that's how I'll end up with like a little bit of a longer video. And it's worth maybe testing to see what that engagement looks like versus the individual clips. So I did see that we had a question from Prasad, and he wanted to know if you tend to add videos directly from the camera, like using, I guess, the using the add photo to camera option on mobile. I guess that's within Google Maps. So when you go to add a photo and then you select the source, so essentially, do you upload directly, or do you tend to, I guess, perhaps maybe lean more towards, curating the highlight videos versus? I guess that's my understanding of the question. I don't know if Prasad, if you're still on the call. Is he still on the call?
Oh, yes, that is what I want.
Yes. Okay, great. Oh, okay. Excellent. Great. Thanks for clarifying.
So generally I'm adding 8 to 10 videos or photos per day because I've been on a few photo walks and I've got a lot of photos to add. And that's all I want to do. But I always do everything on my desktop. It's easier for me than trying to do everything on my little phone. That's just the old-fashioned part of me. So, and I add it directly from Google Photos. And as you said, Steve, it even on the desktop, it says, what are you adding, a photo or a video? and I normally add one of each to every POI that I go to. I have added from my phone. I just seem to have more control with my desktop, but that's just me.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Great. Thanks for the question. Excellent. So I don't know if there were any more questions, but I do know. Oh, you've raised your hand, Adrian. Let's go.
Yeah. So another question from me is that so I do my videos using the cinematic pan mode on the Google Pixel, which is where most of my videos are panning anyway. So I'm panning across a restaurant or cafe or wherever it may be. And I'm using the cinematic pan mode on the Google Pixel camera app. And it basically slows things down. So if I do a 4-second recording, it generates an 8-second video because it just slows things down. And it doesn't record audio. So my question to you is that, do you think audio is important or not? And most of the times, I think when you tap on a video in Google Maps, by default, it doesn't play the audio. You have to click somewhere to turn the audio back on or something like that.
So I'm going to say no, do not add audio. Besides too much noise, screaming babies, nothing wrong with babies, honking cars, or just too much noise, I say no to audio. But if I'm doing a highlight video, I will add Google's music to it. And they give you a choice of, I don't know, 80 to 100 different types of music that you can add to it. But I'm only adding about one highlight video every day or so. I've got to take more. It's been so successful, I have to take more.
Excellent. Thanks for that question, Adrian. Jake?
Hi. I don't mean to cut in. I want to just add in that over the last couple of months, there's been meetings and trainings on more accessibility type options within Maps, and something that I hadn't thought of, because I'm on team no audio. I don't want to hear what's going on. It distracts from the video. But in the accessibility conversations, there was a suggestion that having audio there is important for people to understand whether or not a place might be appropriate for them if they have a sensitivity to sound, or if their children have a sensitivity to sound. So if you are shooting in a restaurant and you kind of capture the ambiance and in the audio, and it's very calm and quiet, they might be more comfortable bringing their children or going there themselves, versus if you're at a sports bar and it's screaming and yelling and it's very loud, they may avoid that place altogether. But they don't know that unless they can hear it. And that kind of changed my perspective as to whether or not I would add audio into the video.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's a good point, Jake. Something I hadn't thought of, but
and I had an idea.
You know, Google asks you that questions now sometimes when you're updating. How loud is it? You know, can you carry on a conversation? Is it very loud? This is kind of new, but you know, so I guess this is what they're leaning to as well. But it's a great point, Jake.
Yeah, I'm also team no audio, but I have, for the reasons that you bring up, Jake, I have found that in very few instances, probably less than maybe 25% of my videos, I've included the audio just to provide that sense of the environment. I think my call out there is maybe, if you are someone who does enjoy including audio, just ensuring that it doesn't, like, you're not hearing any sort of personal conversations. Because if you are, for instance, in a restaurant, you may be picking up the conversation going on next to you. And I think that's where things get a little weird, iffy. But if you could generally, and I know we keep using like a restaurant as an example, but hey, generally, if you can just kind of just capture that ambiance, and it's just kind of random chatters and, the clinking of the glasses, this and that, I think, it can add some value. So again, as Terry has highlighted earlier, every situation is an opportunity to kind of like maybe like skew your approach or kind of like try to understand what your approach would be. But you know, you can even also think about that after the fact when you're thinking about, you know, when you're kind of looking through your videos or your photos, well, specifically videos, and you know, you've gone home, you've left the restaurant, and you're going through and you're kind of making a determination around, okay, this is quality, this is good, this is quality, the audio maybe not so much, etc. So yeah, so that's a wonderful point to bring up, Adrian and Jake. Thank you for that. So I see that Santosh, you've raised your hand.
Yes. So I just wanted to add to what we are discussing related to audio in the videos. All points are perfect. One point I just wanted to add over here is that when we are shooting for some natural resources like waterfalls or probably chirping of birds or at times water fountain, and if there is no external noise, I would say, like screaming and all or discussions, it's better to have that kind of natural audio also included in that video to give the real effect of the sound of waterfall, chirping of birds or water fountains. So that I largely I follow that. Of course, barring that thing that where noise is not there, external noise, keeping
Right.
the reality intact.
That's
Excellent.
a great point, Santosh. I totally agree with you there.
Yeah, thank you for raising that. That was kind of like the hope of this call, right? To kind of like be able to challenge certain perspectives, but also raise, you know, new perspectives. And obviously we're all kind of together just trying to build best practices, right? So thank you so much for that, Santosh. Adrian?
Yeah, so another question then is also audio related. Would you consider doing a voiceover? So in your video, you do a voiceover and go like, oh, this is the restaurant and I would recommend this and that. Or you do almost like a verbal review included into your highlight video kind of thing. Because, you know, like a lot of people, oh, not say a lot of people, but I mean, some people are into that content creating thing that they do, and this might fit into their bag. So I don't know.
Personally, I've shied away from that because, you know, the Instagram is there, TikTok is there, and there's all kinds of people there. There's lots of Google Guides that are on both, and they're using Google Guides as the same format, and I don't think it's that way. Maybe more for educational purposes rather than restaurants, but there could be a use for it in definitely some locations. But I personally, I can't see it for restaurants.
Yeah, that's a great question, Adrian. I feel like honestly, over the next year will probably tell us about, you know, I guess the Google Maps team and their appetite for that type of content. Again, like this type of the type of content that you're describing is what's really gaining traction, you know, even, you know, as Terry mentioned, Instagram, TikTok, and it's going to be very interesting to see if the Maps team, as you know, obviously as a business, if they want to gear in that direction, move in that direction, if they're going to allow that type of content to be, you know, included on Google Maps. I've seen videos like that without the voiceovers. And, you know, now that you mention it, I can totally imagine that being the case in Google Maps, but I feel like it's going to be another bit of a battleground as far as like, you know, those types of contributors versus people who may be, I guess, a little bit, not to really put a label, but people who may be more purists, who may just be showcasing everything as it is versus adding that extra commentary, because you're right, Terry, you know, we have reviews, we have other points in which we can kind of showcase like how we feel about like a certain place. But it's weird. I myself, I've only recently gotten into TikTok, so like I see the appeal of that type of video, but at the same time, yes, many of us have been local guides for quite some time, and I feel like we may feel a little odd if we see that type of video in maps. It's almost like they'd be trying to pull us into more of that social, like that really social media aspect, right? So it's interesting. That's such an interesting question, Adrian.
Yeah, there's a kind of lead on to that as well, in the sense that I always find it interesting that I've never seen a video uploaded by the business owners, because if it was me as a user on Google Maps, I would love to be able to look at a cafe, a museum, a bookstore, whatever it is, and I'll be able to click on the video from the owner, and the owner is telling me, you know, like a voiceover or something like that, to say, hey, welcome to my store. This is what we do. This is what we sell. You know, I would love to have that introductory kind of type video, like a 10-second clip where I can kind of get a glimpse of what the business is all about. So I've never seen a business do that, and I don't know why, but yeah, that's my thoughts anyway.
I can.
I've seen a couple of businesses do that. Some of them, as you said, have been very informative, but then some of them have taken it the wrong way. And I recently saw one that he had to have pictures of his kids in his Christmas scene as part of his store. It's not needed. It's not right. But I have seen it work the other way, Adrian, and the guy did a great job on it.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen. I can only think about one business near me that I know is kind of like uploading their own videos, and I guess the photos of their like menu items. But yeah, that's an interesting point. I guess, you know, that's kind of going into the whole Google My Business side of things. I could almost imagine what you're saying, Adrian, as far as like, you know, when you select a POI on maps, maybe almost kind of like YouTube, like there's maybe like a hero video that is maybe uploaded by the business owner, whether or not it's included in the main carousel of images and videos, or maybe just some other section. But I think that's an interesting point. And it's funny, like, you know, earlier on, Terry mentioned how he was able to, you know, help a business owner figure out how to edit their hours. I guess in a way, like us local guides, we can also work to encourage business owners to do more, to consider doing that. Like, yes, it's good, it's helpful to have user-generated content and have your customers tell the story, but at the same time, yeah, business owners are missing out on an opportunity perhaps to really you know, use videos or photos to their advantage. So yeah, that's a great point. Cool. So I do know that there are just very few minutes left. Want to open the door to maybe one more question, if anyone has one. I'm going to take that as us doing an incredible job at covering video today. So that said, I guess, you know, I want to kick it off to. I do want to obviously thank Terry for all of your insight, for the opportunity to be here this morning. Again, it's we're going into Thanksgiving in Canada. You have been doing so many more things at this point, but you know, giving us the hour to share your insight. Thank you so much, Terry. I'm sure many more will be looking forward to your posts and your guidance on Connect as well. So just before we kind of head off, because I know we got 3 minutes now. That timer, Adrian, it's great, but it's scary. Terry, just wanted to see if there's anything else you wanted to share before I guess passing off to Adrian.
Steve, thank you very much for this great interview. Adrian, thank you for the opportunity for this too. I really have enjoyed this and had a lot of fun. And I just encourage more people, take some videos. That's my last word. Take
Excellent.
some more videos.
So Adrian, I would it be possible to take a screenshot, or like just
Yeah, I can do a
if anybody
screenshot.
wants
Yeah.
to jump on, because I see some great faces and I feel like this is a great opportunity.
Ricardo,
if you
what's that in your hand?
I'm making some advertising for your amazing logos for the Local Guides 10th anniversary. This cup was made for another local guys from Mexico who give us as a present in a past meetup. So it's amazing what how far your logos have reached.
That's fantastic. Okay, I'll do a few screenshots and
Awesome.
let me see if I can get this working. Okay, smile. Cool. Yep.
Awesome. Thanks, Adrian. And I do want to thank everyone for joining as well. Very lively conversation. It's always great to see everyone. And obviously it's great when we can engage in a situation like this. So again, before hopping off, Adrian, our knight in shining armor, do you have anything to share, anything to promote, anything to remind us, guides?
Oh, I actually have a question for you, Steve. Do you have?
Yes.
So Steve is kind of leading the effort for October, where we're doing a focus on videography. I'm just curious to know whether you have anything planned for the rest of the month, or yeah.
Yes. So Jesse and I are working on a challenge. Hopefully, we'll be able to share that soon. And that'll be for the month of October, obviously relating to video. And then I have another sort of meetup that I am looking to do in about 2 weeks' time. Something similar to this, but I am hoping to invite some panelists that are in the industry who have done videos professionally, editing professionally, who can potentially share their insights. So that's what I've got to share. I don't know if I beat the time.
No. The time is it's nothing. I mean, the timer hits 0, but we're still running, so don't worry about it. It was just more
It's
like
funny.
a reminder.
Right. It was like waiting for Y2K, and I was like, oh man, this is it. This is it.
Yeah.
But yes, we do. Yeah, we do have that. I should be able to inform everybody about that panel soon, hopefully. Just waiting on the panelists to confirm with me. But that's what we've got for October for videos. But of course, open to anything else anyone may feel like kind of like doing or bringing to the community. Yeah, it's open door policy as always.
Yeah, definitely. So if you want to share your own experiences and your own tips on how to do videos, feel free to add that to connect and share your stuff there. And also just to lead on to that, after October, in November, December, we are doing the community spotlight. And that is going to be quite a big thing. So we're roping in quite a lot of local guides out there who are involved in this. And I think the first 2 communities to kick off the community spotlight is Canada and France, which Terry's involved in, and also Track, which is the Thousands Road Edit Challenge. So those 2 communities will be kicking off community spotlight, and it'll be running throughout November and December. Altogether, at the moment, we have 9 communities. I don't know whether my brain's working properly to list them all out at the moment. But we've got 9 communities working, and I'm still pressing for a 10th one, which I think what happened is just that I don't have the details for it, but that 10th will be a special one, but you can almost guess who that community will be. But yeah, so that's taking place in November, December. If any of you are still interested to participate in there, to find out more about it, do reach out to me and I can point you to all the right people. Cool. And that's basically it. So thank you, Steve and Terry, for doing this. Absolutely amazing to have you both on here, and amazing again to hear all the things about videos and how to take them and what works and what doesn't. So thank you so much for your inputs and thoughts on this.
Absolutely. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving to you, Terry, and everyone
Steve.
in Canada, and hope everyone has a great weekend ahead.
Okay, see you guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.